I'm Dr. James Marcum, and I want to talk to you for a few moments about chronic disease and how distractions affect chronic disease. And if you stay till the end of this short video, I'm going to give you some specific things that you can do today to help you have better health. You know, 2020 has been a year like none other. And you must admit, I've been doing the COVID-19 in the hospital now for 6 months. And everyone asks me, they ask me questions. And every day I get tons of emails and studies about this and that. And you hear different things on the news. And what can I tell you for sure? And how does it relate to chronic disease? Well, number one is the COVID is contagious for sure. 2, the COVID is real for sure. 3, and I think you'll all agree, the COVID is political. 4th, I see the COVID causing fear. And 5th, I see that the COVID is distracting us. Well, why is distractions important? And what does it have to do with chronic disease? When you're distracted from anything, you're not paying attention to the big picture. And I see that all the time. You've heard this saying, you can't see the forest for the trees. Well, this COVID is distracting so many in their health journeys that people are ignoring their health. They're coming into the hospital after they've had infections for weeks. They've had a heart attack for 4 or 5 days, and they're not coming in till it's very advanced. This COVID and the world that we live in is literally distracting us. It's keeping us away from paying attention to our health. And what I specifically wanted to talk to you a little bit today about chronic disease. Well, first of all, we want to start out with talking about what is a chronic disease? How do I know if I have a chronic disease? What is it? Well, I'm going to make this relatively simple. We all have genetics that make us who we are. They determine everything about our bodies. We all have genes that are imperfect. For instance, if I had hearing problems in my family and you were to yell in my ear all day long, my ear would wear out and I need a hearing aid sooner. If you have disease in your pancreas and run out of insulin, you might get diabetes earlier. Well, so any stressors on our genetics cause these genes to malfunction, and they can malfunction very slowly over time. When the genes malfunction, things like telomeres shorten, we have things like oxidations. Eventually, we don't know anything is going on inside us because nothing feels bad. But underneath, we're aging, things are changing, and eventually when the changes occur enough, we have a problem. We call that a problem a symptom. And what do people do with symptoms? Well, when they have a symptom, they go to the doctor treats the symptoms, but sometimes he does not get at the cause of the chronic problem, the real cause of the stressor that's affecting the genes. For instance, some people have high blood pressure, and sure, they get a medicine for that, but what's causing it? Well, it might be a stressor. It might be you're worried or eating the wrong food or not sleeping well at night. No one addresses those chronic lifestyle issues, which are aging our genes and causing the activation of disease. Well, I call this as chronic disease. It's not necessarily genetics. It's just the wearing out of our genes that happen because we live every day and the stress that's under it. Well, sometimes we get so busy in life that we don't even think about our health. We get distracted. And COVID has definitely been distracting us tremendously. So I want to share with you today a couple things that you can do to help avoid distractions. First, I'd like to turn you to the Bible, because that's one of the best ways to help keep you focused on God's words. And this is from Matthew 8, verses 17. And it says that it might be fulfilled, which was spoken by Isaiah the prophet. Here's what he said. He himself, Jesus, took our infirmities and bore our sicknesses. Let's think about that for a moment. He himself took our infirmities and bore our sicknesses. Well, if you have afflictions, if you have distractions, one of the first things you can do today is turn to Jesus and ask him to bear our infirmities and sicknesses. Another thing that we can do today is think about our bodies. Just for a few seconds, think about how you feel. Ask yourself, today, are you being distracted? Are you being distracted by COVID? Are you being distracted by everything that's going on in the news? Are you being distracted by things that aren't important? And focus on the major things that are important in your life: your family, your relationships with Jesus, your loved ones, your health. And when you take the time, just a moment today, to focus, you're going to notice that you have better health and you start to understand and slow down the development of chronic disease. Do you have a favorite Bible verse that gives you hope, that helps you personally from being distracted? Do you want to share this with others? Well, I want you to encourage you to write these below and subscribe and share this video, as this is one of the biggest ways you can help us spread the message of God's desire for healing in our lives.